Hey guys, Raphael here with another video. Today we're going to go over Warlocks inside of Molten Core, how to be the most effective in your class, how to get the most damage out of your class, and be the most useful for your raid as far as curses and rotations go. Thanks for watching and let's get started. So in this video, I'm assuming a lot of people know most of the boss mechanics and know the consumables that you'll need, but just to be clear, I'll go over the damage consumables that you can get. So Flask of Supreme Power is very nice, but it's not very necessary to clear the raid. If you're trying to just see how much damage you could do though, it's very nice just to experiment with. Greater Arcane Elixir is definitely better than a regular Arcane Elixir, but it costs a lot more gold. It gives us 10 more spell power, but the main benefit is it lasts for 30 more minutes. So the next one is Elixir Shadow Power. It gives us 40 more shadow damage for 30 minutes. So you'll need quite a few more of these than the Greater Arcane Elixirs, depending on how long that your raid takes. So to talk about talent trees, SM Ruin is very popular. It gives you an imp, so you can be grouped with the tanks and give them a life buff. DS Ruin, however, is going to give you more damage, with 5% more shadow damage on all of your curses and on your Shadow Bolt. Alright guys, so the first fight that we start running into trouble at are the dog packs. So what you want to do is you want to cast Corruption and Curse of Agony on all 5 of them as you're moving towards him. If you can't get all 5, it's alright, but you want to do this while the tank is grouping them up. You want to immediately start casting Hellfire. If you have a Goblin Sapper charge, open up with that. Make sure your Hellfire is hitting all 5 targets at once. And one thing, probably the most important thing to note here, besides if you're Demonic Sacrifice, you want to sacrifice your imp here to get 15% fire damage. And then make sure you bring yourself back out the Succubus for the boss fight and sacrifice that. One of the most important things to note here is that you want to keep casting Hellfire after the dogs are dead, after they're on the ground, smoldering. You want to keep casting Hellfire to make sure that your DPS keeps growing and making sure that you're on the top of the meter. It makes all the Warlocks look really good in your raid, and at the end of the day, that's what we want, so maybe we'll get past the gear. But yeah, so that's that fight. Alright guys, so for our first boss, Lucifer, we want to make sure we're putting Corruption and Agony on the off target and on Lucifer. The main target you can just gun down, of course. By the time we get to the off target and the Lucifer, our Corruption and our Agony will be expired already, and the raid can get the debuffs out that they need. Other than that, there's not really much to this fight. It's just spam Shadow Bolt, spam Frost Bolt, you know, all the good spells that we have. And that's pretty much it for Lucifer. There's really nothing else to add to that fight. So really the only thing to add for Magmadar is to make sure that you're not getting hit by his AoE Fear, which if you're SMDS, you don't have range on your Affliction spells, so it will put you in range if it's AoE Fear if you're moving into cast. Like if you have a Corruption or a Curse of Agony debuff slot in your raid, it will put you in range. One thing you can do is you can equip your PvP Trinket, or you can just go in to cast those curses after he does an AoE Fear, just to be safe. Other than that, there's nothing really to add to this fight. It's very simple. You just stay out of range of his sphere and cast Shadow Bolt. So the Gehenna's fight is going to go exactly the same as the Lucifer fight went. We're going to put Corruption and Agony on the off target and on Gehenna's, and then we're going to gun down the main target. So in general, you want to, especially if you're SMDS and you don't have that range for your Affliction spells, you want to be in the front of the raid so you can instantly get off your spells on the targets. A lot of people call for no DPS here. You can actually instantly cast your Affliction spells. Don't be afraid to. The tanks are going to pull more damage than you are in the first couple seconds. It's not really going to matter. So yeah, you can just instantly get your Curse and Corruption off, and then get your main Curse on the main target. And by the time you move to those other targets, just get the main curse, or let the raid get their set debuff slots that they're trying to go for. So something to note in general for all these fights, you want to definitely be at the front, getting off your curses very early. You also want to get enough mana to be able to finish the fight off, but you don't want to over mana, because all the time that you're spending life tapping is taking away from the time you could be sitting there casting Shadow Bolt. But there's nothing really else to add to this fight except basically stay out of the cleave, stay out of Rain of Fire, of course, just like common sense things that that you shouldn't even have to tell anyone. So here I think I life tap and use one Demonic Rune and a Mana Potion maybe. Yeah, I used a Demonic Rune and a life tap, just to give me enough mana to finish the fight off. I don't want to sit there, casting tons of life taps, and just taking away from time I could be casting Shadow Bolt and killing the target quicker. But yeah, that's it for this fight. That's all there is to add to this one. Alright guys, so the only things really to add to this fight for Gar is going to be you want to buff your Braid with trash buffs, Unending Breath, and Detect Invisibility, because Gar is going to purge random buffs off. So you want to make sure if you can get any trash buffs up, you definitely want to do that. One thing, you want to cast Corruption and Agony on all the off-tanked mobs. Don't be close enough to them when they die to get exploded. I think I was trying to go multi-dot someone. Just make sure you're paying attention and that doesn't happen to you. And make sure, of course, you're dotting up the boss. And focusing down whatever target they're calling for. Keep your targets banished. You want to be at the front of the pool when the fight starts to get your banish off immediately. And also make sure you're timing your banish. Banish is a short cast. You can get it off immediately as soon as the other banish comes off. There should be no time when the mob's running around at all. But yeah, that's pretty much it to add to this fight. Just multi-dot, make sure your banishes are extremely quick, and make sure you're gunning down the main target. So Baron Geddon, it's really good to use Restorative Potion here. He has some nasty debuffs he can put on you. So one thing I will say before this fight, you want to definitely Soulstone yourself. So if you do get hit by the Living Bomb, you can get up immediately. You don't have to wait for a resurrection. You can get up immediately and start casting Shadow Bolt again to make sure you get the most DPS. That's pretty much it for this fight. Like, just make sure you Soulstone yourself. Make sure that you're using Life Tap efficiently. Just stay out of range of his Inferno, of course. Like, that's pretty common. That's pretty much common sense. But yeah, just make sure you Soulstone yourself. So like when you get blown up, you don't have to wait for a resurrection. You can immediately get up and immediately just start casting your Shadow Bolt again. So Shazra, you want to make sure that you're getting in range to cast your curses and stay in range for Shadow Bolt without getting hit by his Arcane Explosion. It's a very simple fight. You just make sure you want to stop DPS like the second that he teleports on your group, but usually you can start again after that. Like, you don't have to wait forever, but you do want to get out of range. Like, say when he teleports on your group, you want to kind of back up and get out of range of his Arcane Explosion there. Unless he's hitting on you. If he's hitting on you, that's when you want to stop DPS. If he's not hitting you, you want to keep going DPS. You want to make sure that you're casting Shadow Bolts. If you see a missing debuff slot on there, go ahead and throw Agony on there. Keep your Corruption up. Just make sure you're spamming Shadow Bolt. Try to get a Power Infusion on this fight from Priest. Like, just whisper them before the fight. They'll probably do it. But yeah, just make sure that you just keep that Corruption up. If you do have a Corruption debuff slot. I think he's going to teleport here on the fight, so I can show you what I'm talking about here. Let's see. Yeah, I think he's about to do it. He's about to do it here, probably. Yep, right here. So I stopped Shadow Bolt, but I see I don't have aggro, so I go again. I start going again. Like, see, I put a Corruption on there, I go again. I put Agony, I go again. Yep. So don't be scared. Like, I know everyone says no damage, no damage, no damage, but half the time they don't know what they're talking about, and you can really put damage on there. If you have a threat meter, just pay attention to your threat meter. Once it resets, just kind of keep an eye on it and see who's doing damage. If anyone's doing damage, your Corruption or your Agony is not going to out DPS them in like the first 3 seconds. There's no way it's going to happen. So maybe you don't want to cast Shadow Bolt instantly, because if you crit, you will pull threat, but you can definitely get like a Corruption and Agony up on him. That's pretty much it for this fight. Is really going on here. Like, I think all of them actually end up healing each other. But, I mean, hopefully that's happening, and you can instantly just start gunning down the boss. Notice I also have curses on him at the same time. Like, pretty much, you want to get curses on him, and then you want to start casting corruptions on the 4 ads, and get them all together and start hellfiring them. That's the best way to get DPS out of this fight. And yeah, and just make sure you're casting it. Like, make sure when your Agony falls off, you're not actually recasting it, so they can get the proper debuffs they need, because melee can actually get in on this fight. Unlike the last one. So just make sure, make sure that you're not recasting Agony. But I think I do here because we had an open debuff slot for it. But yeah, also something to note, make sure you're casting Shadow Burn at the end of all your fights. So like before the raid, you want to farm up like 30 soul shards, just in case if you cast Shadow Burn a little too early, you don't get your shard back. You can still get that DPS from it. So yeah, just make sure you're casting Shadow Burn at the end of every fight. It just helps kill it. It helps kill the target a little quicker, especially if every Warlock does it. That's taking like something from like 5-6% health down to 0 instantly. And also, yeah, you definitely want to do that. Shadow Burn's like really good, especially if every Warlock's doing it. But that's it for this fight. So Golomag is a very, very simple fight. All you're doing is you're just going to spam Shadow Bolt on him. There's nothing at all to add here. Like, if you can't, you're just going to, basically, you're just going to sit here and hope that he drops a Mage Blade or a Staff of Dominance. And that's pretty much it for this fight. Like, you literally just, like, so if you have weak tanks, you can cast a Curse of Weakness on the dogs. But, I mean, hopefully, like, I mean, maybe the first week of Molten Core, you might need that. But it's, like, far too late for that, really. Like, for anyone to be needing that. So yeah, you're just really gonna spam Shadow Bolt on here. It's really boring. I'm gonna skip this because it's just like I can barely sit here to watch it when I was making this clip. So it's super boring. Basically, he just resists half your Shadow Bolts, and you just want to pretty much kill him. He has a lot of Shadow Resist. So yeah, that's it for this fight. Try to get a Power Infusion, definitely. You always, like, for every boss you want a Power Infusion pretty much. Like, if you have a really good priest friend, hit them up. Make sure that they're casting that Power Infusion on you. It's really, really important for. I mean, unless you resist every Shadow Bolt that you get Power Infusion for. But that's it for this fight. Majordomo is a little tricky, so you want to make sure you're multi-dotting here like we did on Gar and on the other bosses. But you don't want to multi-dot any of the healers. Make sure you're multi-dotting Flamewalker elites. That's all. Like that. If you multi-dot something else, their sheep is going to break, and the whole raid's going to be pissed at you. So don't do that. Just make sure you're using Corruption and Agony on everything here. Make sure you're not hitting when the Magic Shield is up. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to let this clip play because I get a really nice crit in here, and I'm just going to kind of show it off. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't put anything on Majordomo. He doesn't take damage. So yeah, there's my 3.5k crit with T1 gear. So that's pretty much it for this fight, though. Yeah, just try to stay at the top of the DPS meter the best you can. So Ragnaros is a very simple fight. There's not really a lot to add here. I mean, you're a caster, so you get to pretty much show how big your dick is here. Just make sure that you're staying up on mana pretty efficiently. And that's really it. Like, I mean, you're gonna get hit sometimes. Make sure you have your greater 5 protection potion. Like, I mean, everything's common sense here. Everyone knows, you know, everything's known here. I mean, if a submerge happens, make sure that you're getting a banish off and you're grouping up with your team. And that's pretty much it. Like, you don't. I mean, the only time that you don't want to try to be going big dick on this raid is when if your raid doesn't kill him quick enough and a submerge happens. You actually want to like go small dick there. You want to like banish and just kind of stay away so your mana doesn't get drained. Actually, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, so instant corruption, agony because we have those debuff slots in my raid. Hopefully a power infusion pretty soon. But I mean that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, I trolled around a lot in this video, but on a serious note, I hope you guys did get some tips as far as some of the bosses that can maybe help you out, help you clear those bosses a little quicker for your raid, and just be more beneficial to your progress of your guild, pretty much. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Follow, like, and subscribe if you want more. Maybe if you want more Warlock guides or something like that, maybe gear guides, or I might post a Dire Maul East farm video pretty soon. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I'm just trying to have fun with these videos, so I really appreciate you watching and taking the time for that. Yeah, hit me up if you guys want me to make something in particular. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.